want to miss out.
Okay, so I'm going to put this here. I'm just going to hold it.
Okay, that's fine if you want to do that.
Ready?
Okay, ready, sync. 1, 2, 3. God, we are getting so good at that. I feel like that's progress. And if nothing else, that's progress.
So welcome to season 2 of
Season 2.
Oh, the episode 2.
Episode 2, take 2.
Episode 2, take 2 of the Art of Everyday podcast. We did do a little mini episode in between the last one and this one, which you did not see on purpose. So this is the real second one. Yep. Okay, and so what we're going to talk about, because the first episode we wanted to introduce, we had some more timely things that we wanted to talk about, like summer camp and events that were coming up. Now we wanted to kind of but talk about the history of MUSEjar, because we get asked all the time about how long have we been open? When did we move locations? How long have you been working here?
What does the name mean?
Yeah, exactly. So we want to take this as an opportunity to gab about it. So here we are. So I'm going to start. So let's see. The seed of MUSEjar was planted in the fall of 2012.
It was a nice autumn day.
Probably. I was working at MyBome Fine Arts with Grace.
Oh, see, I didn't know that either.
Yeah. I was a framer with Grace. And I had an art studio at Redfish with Alex Martin, and I just painted in all of my free time. And Alex planted the seed. Well, we would talk about when we would be painting late at night, we always talked about how much we wished we had an art store to visit, to like pop down if we needed something. Don't have to, order it online and wait, or drive elsewhere. So that was something we just like kind of talked about all the time. And then the building, so the art studio that I had was actually in, so many bizarre moments when I say them out loud, was in the Muse Loft, was my art studio. Did you know that?
No.
Yeah. So my office was my first art studio when I moved back. It's wild. So we were painting, and she's like, Harold, who the auto body shop next door, he was retiring, and so that space was going to be vacant. And so hindsight, I'm realizing this 13 years later, that maybe she was sort of, wanting, it was like a, how do I word this?
Kismet? Nudge?
Yeah.
Serendipitous?
She was very good. She's very inspiring, and she's an idea person. And she really knew how to get you excited about something. So there. And I had nothing. I mean, it's not that I had nothing, but I wasn't married. I didn't have a baby. I didn't have a house. I literally was just like ready to do whatever. And I'm very much the kind of person that is not afraid of a risk or a task, or like, I'll just do it. So she planted that seed, and Harold was leaving, and I was like, you know what, why not? I'll just do it. So November of 2012, I think it was around there, I decided, like, yes, let's do it. So I began writing a business plan. I went to the Small Business Association downtown, and at Buff State, I believe. Buff State Small Business? Wrote my first business plan. And then I went to all these banks and basically got money with no money. And I still to this day don't know how they did it. Maybe because I was just like nice. I mean, I have no idea how I got money with no money. I had nothing, I don't know how they gave it to me, but they did, and thank God. So that happened. I got I did all the business things, the DBA, all that stuff the following year. And then I opened that July of 2013. So it was fast. It was really fast. We just hit the ground running. I had all my time and energy went into it, which was pretty great. So I decided to open sidewalk sale weekend because I wanted the most people around as humanly possible when we opened. And our first store location had, if you guys don't know, it was a garage. So the garage door opened. So it was like open air store. So we just wanted as much coverage as possible. So that was the weekend we chose, and we still celebrate every year to this day.
Lucky number 13 this summer.
13 years. So a little different being off the beaten path here, but that's okay. So yeah. And looking back, I should have actually brought my business plan. That would have been very entertaining to look at that now. But education was not on it anywhere. I really wanted to do like open stock of all these supplies. I wanted to have like a paint wall where I could make and brand my own paints, and I wanted people to come in and be able to like fill up paint jars, like their own, bring your own paint jar and like fill it up. I had a very different idea of where I wanted the store to go when I was dreaming of it. But then being in the store all the time, people just kept coming in and asking, like, do you do art lessons? Are you going to do classes? And I had time. I mean, I basically lived there. So I was like, sure, like, why not? So I had lessons. That's how I met Nancy, the mouth painter. She drove her wheelchair right in and asked me about lessons and if I would ever teach. And I said, sure. And now, I mean, maybe 12 years later, I still go to her house every week for 2 hours, and it's been 12 years. So pretty wild how that happens. So yeah, I kind of did it alone. Well, not alone. I mean, my family helped me, obviously. And then after maybe 3 years, I'm so sorry of anyone who started in the very beginning if I'm totally butchering the timeline. But one fun fact about me, I have a horrendous memory. So yeah, a few years I went it alone, and then I slowly started to get more people to come and help me. And then I feel like I'm skipping all of like the cleaning and that's okay.
How it was a literal.
It was a garage. You had to clean it.
Yeah.
It was a garage. It was grody. It was like it had only been a garage since it was built. So the building, the property is 17-21. So MUSEjar was 17, and then the big brick building next door is 21, and that one has been around for way longer. So the other building was built maybe in the 50s, and it had always been something for cars, whether it was like a body shop or a mechanic shop. So it was gross. I mean, it was meant for not the finer things in life, so, but it was built really strong. So it had like steel trusses, so we could do a lot of fun things with it. But when we first got in there, when we were able to get in after Harold had left, it was so dirty. We had power washed the entire thing. My parents and I, bless them. I mean, they have helped me do the craziest things.
Still.
Oh my God. Whenever I come over to my dad's, like my parents' house, I'm like, Dad? And he's like, yes. What do you need help with? I'm like, I will send. Now I've gotten to the point where I'll like send him a drawing and like actual measurements instead of just like word throw up something and having him like, translate it. But anyway, so we had to power wash the whole thing. It was great. But anyways, yeah. So now.
So tell us where the name MUSEjar came from.
Oh, MUSEjar. Yes. That's the one question people always ask.
Yeah.
So MUSEjar, to be a muse, is you're inspiring someone or something to be a muse, and then a jar is where you hold things. So my hope for the store still, and the studio now, is that when you come in, you are inspired to do whatever you want to do. Some people come in and they're like, oh my gosh, I'm always a drawer. I've always wanted to paint, and I see you have classes, and then they start taking painting classes, and then they actually switch from drawing to painting. Or that's like what I hope, is that when you come in, you kind of get a little burst of inspiration, however that is, whether it's talking to us, whether it's seeing student work or seeing a class going, just however it rears its head. That's like my hope for every person that comes in here, that they feel really at home, they feel comfortable, and they feel like a place they want to come back to, and they feel inspired.
It's a hub for inspiration.
Yeah. So that's kind of how I thought like the store would be like a jar filled with things to inspire people. So that's probably our number one question. And how many years have you been open? I just walked by here for the first time. And I say, oh my gosh, are you here from out of town? They're like, no, I live in East Aurora. Oh, well, we've been here for 13 years. So that's a big question that people ask.
Yeah.
It's still green. Okay. So Lisa was probably I think I had a couple people in before. Everyone's always been part-time, and it's always doing something. We're always like, we're all like Jills of trade, you know, Jill of all trades. So whether it's teaching, whether it's doing graphics and social media, whether it's doing displays or whatever, we've all kind of are like a Swiss Army knife, which I'm very grateful for. I don't think I've ever had, maybe a couple, but for the most part, everyone here is like very capable and talented, and I'm very fortunate. But Lisa started in, well, you tell.
So in January of 2019, I had lived here for about 6 months, and I just walked in and said, hey, you don't have any photography classes, and I want to teach some. And you said, let's go. Yeah. And then quickly from there, I went to doing private lessons, and that's what I've done, I think, predominantly, or had done predominantly for quite a while. Still, I think a lot now. And then 21, spring of 21 was when I started to help out and take on some responsibilities at the shop. Yes. So now I still do both. I still teach and do a hair. And my education is in my background is in art education. So that was a really easy transition for me to do it. And
she's here the most in terms of like being in the studio. So that's why her role is pivoted into, she's like the private lesson coordinator. She does like all the back. So if you email us and ask for private lessons, you will get Lisa. Because she's here the most and sees everyone and the ins and outs. So it was just like a natural progression from like front desk duties into that, which has been great. It always happens so seamlessly too. Like people will come, and then like Emma was here, and then she got a teaching job. She wanted to become an art teacher, and there's a long-term sub position. And we're like, you have to take that. Lauren was here, and she was doing graphics and social media, but she wanted to go. She got a job in New York. It was like a non-negotiable. Yeah, bye, go. Jen was here with me for so long, and then she moved to Minnesota to be with her partner, and that was a no-brainer. Obviously, families first. So everyone, it's kind of people just come and go in a natural cadence, and it's one door opens, another closes kind of a thing. And it really has always worked out very well, because that's how Shar.
The timing, always seems to be right. And and where you kind of park yourself, right? For me, the education part, it was easy for me, and it made sense, because that's when we were really starting to, the private lessons, we were starting to get a backlog, right? A serious wait list, and somebody needs to go through that. So it was like timing was just really, really perfect. And then the timing for you coming in.
Because I was in between opportunities, and she had to take some time off, and she asked me to help out. So I did. Yeah. And then I don't think it was intentionally supposed to be a permanent thing, but
we secretly
well, because she came in when she had to take time off, then I was going on maternity leave, and then Lauren was leaving. It was like a perfect timing of everyone. And it was one of those things where Lauren was doing all of our social stuff, and I said, Shar, what do you think about, well, you were already helping me with like flyers and stuff, and I was like, you know what, like you were good at that, like you did it, like whenever I was like, can you make me this, you'd always just do it. And I was like, she's gonna, so I was like, what do you think about, do remember, now that we've already had this conversation twice, but I do remember you looking at me like deer in a headlight.
Yeah.
Like, are you sure?
She asked me to do social media, which I had dabbled in social media personally on my private account, but for a business standpoint, that's a whole another ball game.
The pressure's just different.
It is.
Well, we have so many things. I mean, even now, I think about all the things I ask you to like promote. Now we're opening up our avenues, obviously. So like Lisa helps with the blog. We have like we're trying to do podcasting now and do newsletters and social media. Trying very hard. And so, but there's a lot of things between classes and events and product, and we collaborate a lot with people. We try to do philanthropic things. So I feel like we're always trying to do all these things. And Charlie is like over there trying to like juggle them all and give them all equal attention, which I'm grateful for. But so yeah, you've been here since 2022.
Yeah, fall of 2022. Yeah.
So time flies when you're having fun. So they were both here, and they both were helping me with the move, because I found out we had to relocate when I was in the hospital with my child.
Crazy.
So what happened was it's obviously a blur for anyone who's had a child knows, you're like on a different planet when you have a baby and come home. And I just kept getting messages like, I don't want to bother you with this, but have you seen this? Like, we know you just got home, but have you seen this? And it was all screenshots of the listing of the buildings going for sale. And I had no idea. I mean, I still had a lease. So I was completely blindsided. So I was in panic mode, trying to work from home with a newborn, trying to figure out where we were going to go, because there was an end date. And I was like, well, we have to find a new home. So I tried to buy it, and I'm grateful that, everything happens for a reason. It wasn't the spot for us in the end of the day, and I'm grateful it didn't work out that way. But I tried to buy that whole property, 1721, the whole thing, and that didn't work out. And then Bill, who's the landlord of this place, whom is, I'll go back. Okay, so this is some fun little tidbits that I probably would never tell you if you were walking to the front desk or came in here. I would tell you like when we opened and all that stuff, but I would never go into detail. So I suppose that's what podcasts are for. So Bill is a great friend and also the landlord. But I met Bill through Jane. And Jane is probably one of my first customers and has become a very dear friend of mine. Jane is Bill's aunt. And she told me about the apartment. So this whole property currently, the Pine Street property, the original address is on Church Street. And so it was one big, I like to call it a campus, but it's like a huge property. And Bill had purchased it, I don't know, a few, maybe 2016-ish, maybe, I'm guessing. Because I remember Jane telling me about it. She's like, you got to go over there and check it out. It's so cool. Like when I had first opened. And then I rented my first apartment with my current husband, my only husband. I am like not suitable for public consumption. Okay, so I rented from him an apartment. I can't.
Thank goodness your current husband is a pretty forgiving guy. I think you'll be okay, but
so I got an apartment from Bill on the back side of MUSEjar, the current MUSEjar. And so fast forward to when I need to find a new location for the store, I reached out to him, and he has a lot of residential properties. And I didn't even think this was an option. This was not even on my radar as like, hey, Bill, would you be willing to? It was like, let me know if you've got some random like house I can turn into MUSEjar, basically. And so he said, if you're up for the challenge, we could do the Pine Street entrance. And I said, let's do it. So we worked together and we flipped this sucker in like 6 months. Not even, because we had to get it rezoned. So this building, when it was first built, it was commercial, and then it flip-flopped. Residential, commercial, residential, commercial. So it was residential at the time. And so I had to get it split rezoned, which means we got a brand new address for the driveway on Pine Street. And they split the property. So the back end is still residential, the Church Street entrance, and then this is commercial. And the tricky part is that we're surrounded by residential. So the block that 42 North, there's a brewery up the street. That's when it starts commercial, and then all of Main Street. So we're in like this weird little pocket. So it was a little hard. We had to prove, and we had to have like we had to do our homework. We had to do a lot of drawings and kind of really fight for it. And I was very grateful. I was already established in the community for like 10 years. And so people knew I was a lady of my word, and that, I mean, we're not having late night ragers, and we're not a bar. We're not, so we're usually closed no later than like 9 most nights. But anyways, so later, probably like February, maybe, we got the permits to even like get into the building to even start working. And then we opened in July.
Like we cranked in a very short amount of time.
In the winter.
It
was a lot. And so there's certain things we couldn't do because of temperature. Like we poured this entire floor like at the very, very end. And everyone helped. I mean, we had like painting parties in here. Oh, yeah. We had people putting furniture together. It really, quite honestly, took an entire village. Like
I remember sitting at a makeshift desk
Yes.
doing
I
inventory.
have, I have great photos of that.
Yeah, look on the paint bucket.
Yep,
Yeah.
yep,
Yeah.
yep.
And like having, so Matt's grandpa, he had an old 1995 Ford pickup truck with like the 8-foot bed, which is no longer with us, and we're so sad about it. We like loved that thing. But taking all of our plants from the loft and from the store, like, you know, precious cargo, because we had like a quarter of a mile to drive over. And we were with Anna Berry. I forgot Anna was always here too.
Yeah.
So many.
Our summer gal. Yeah.
Yeah. Such a good, we've had so many wonderful people work here. But anyways, so that's like a fun little, and then circling back. So Jane is now the reason why we have a pottery studio.
And we're so grateful for her.
So grateful. She donated her kiln and her wheel that got us off the ground to even have a pottery studio, which is insane to think about her generosity. So that whole family has really done me personally a solid, and MUSEjar. So
fun fact, I don't know if you knew this, but when you were in the hospital dealing with all of the chaos of everybody flooding you with, some of us were sitting in the back studio, the old location, obviously, trying to figure out if we could buy the building.
Oh.
I remember Tammy did like a whole, you guys were going to do like a GoFundMe too.
Yeah, I mean, none of us could afford it. And so, like you said, I'm glad that it didn't go that way, because I'm pretty sure I would have literally been sleeping here.
Yeah.
But we were also in a panic mode, you know, because while you're getting all those calls, we're getting bombarded with real estate business cards and realtors, and none of us had a clue what was going on, but we didn't really want to bother you because you just had a baby with your current husband.
Current husband and baby daddy.
And baby daddy.
Mass.
Same. All the same. But yeah, so that was, I forgot that we had that conversation of 3 or 4 of us sitting back there going, let's just figure it out.
I was clueless.
Let's just figure it out.
I didn't know any of this was happening because I was so new.
You were so new, and so like you weren't there very often.
No.
Yeah.
No,
I know. And like Emily was sending me like Google Docs that Tammy wrote up, which was so sweet, of like a GoFundMe. She's like, I can pull the trigger anytime. I was like, no, there's got to be another way. I don't want to be like a charity kid, you know, like it felt so strange. It was such a bizarre.
You didn't want to feel forced or pushed into
at the same time, the Mertens, they had to sell. Like, I get where they gone about it differently, certainly, but it's their prerogative to put it up for sale whenever they want. You know, like they're not. I wish that they went about it differently, but I mean, I see both sides. Like it was, they needed to sell it for their sake. So, and it all shakes out how it needed to shake out.
And it's supposed to be like this, right? I mean, a lot of the stuff that we have here now, we could never have had over there. Like there would not have been any room to grow some of the components that we have here that I think are really successful.
Yeah, if we would have stayed there and I had the whole space, it would have been like the whole buildings.
Yeah.
It would have been like a whole compound situation.
Yeah.
But we had 0 parking. There's no parking. Yeah. I think about now when we have like the knit in and we have a pottery class, and we have another class, there's like the parking lot is full.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Like,
well, the pottery studio alone would never been in existence.
Yeah. Yeah.
So.
I know. And we did. So we had pottery. Do you remember this?
It was all hand building. Yeah.
Yeah. So Heidi, who's a current teacher, she was our first. She wasn't our first. There's another woman. And I'm so sorry if you're watching this. I'm the worst. I'm the worst. She was wonderful. And she also did a really great job. But Heidi came in, and she is a teacher at GAU. And so she had access to a kiln. So she would bring which now knowing what I know, I had no idea when she was doing it. Like the level of stress to transport greenware.
Never.
To and fro. And then if she would ever break a piece in the car, she would literally rebuild it for the student.
And also remember, when she was teaching, she taught all of her classes in the back original studio space, which was still being used. It was still part of the shop. So when she was teaching those classes, they had to live there
until she transported
them, which was a scary thing for any of us who were teaching in there, because we were like, don't go near, don't wander back there, don't touch anything. Yeah. It was frightening, but she did it every time.
And we have 2 garages for storage. Then we literally had the paint. Well, I guess the loft, we had other rooms in there that we used for storage, but for a very long time. So the back the back studio of the old original space was actually a paint booth. So the doors, this big, like the big black doors, actually were all meant to have like filters on them, and you shut it and you locked it. There's like a chain, and it was an actual car spray booth.
Oh,
the
like a
entire
huge,
room.
like a
And
huge
then-
spray tent.
Yes.
And the whole room was. And then the back storage room was the paint mixing room back in the day.
Oh, that little
Yeah.
closet.
Mm-hmm. And then the back sliding doors that we used for like shelving and
Yeah.
stuff, that was actually, we took it out. That was all part of like the vent system for the ceiling that like sucked all of the paint out. We worked with very little. I mean, it's all I knew. I didn't know any different.
Yeah.
But we used to, like, we were just talking about with figure drawing here last 2 weeks ago. Because there was a guy that walked in. I was like, oh my, I have not seen you since the original spot. He had like, you know, COVID, and then he had whatever. And we were joking about how we had at one point in that back room like 20 people for figure drawing.
Oh my gosh.
And from,
Wow.
like, me to you guys,
Yeah.
like the
Yeah.
model, and people sitting this close, and it was tiered.
That's some intimate.
It was tiered, and then people were coming out into the store and like looking in.
Yeah.
And it was in the summer, hotter
Oh,
than
yeah.
hell,
Oh,
because we
yeah.
didn't have air
No.
conditioning. And I refused to get it. Well, I couldn't get it, but I didn't want it because I wanted to open the front door. So talk about working with what you have.
Yeah.
And just like, you don't know any different. So who cares? But now hindsight,
Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, pretty crazy.
It was a different vibe than here.
Way different
Just-
vibe.
But
I
it
like
was
them-
a vibe. It was
yeah.
nothing. People would walk in and they're like, this is so cool what we had going on there.
Yeah,
It was a different vibe, and it worked until, not
Yeah,
that it
changed.
didn't, but till it changed. Yeah.
I like the old location just because of the rusticness of it.
Yeah.
But I also love this space because it's so light and bright. I mean, they each have their own.
And this is this is quieter, more intentional. The space is way more intentional. Like, we got so much walk-in traffic. And it was separate from the store. Like, there's days where I'd go weeks without seeing some teachers because they would just use the loft, which was not connected. So there were times that I didn't come in the store because my office was next door. It was very, very disconnected, I felt, from like everything. Here, everyone is all together all the time, which I love. You see people all the time. You see students. You know what I mean? There's no separation.
But there are designated spaces too, which
Right.
I think is actually really cool because people are like, what's through that door? What's through that door? But nothing is shut off, really.
Right.
Truly, it's nothing shut off. So there's designated spaces. Whereas I think at the other one, you kind of just,
Found a
this
spot.
is a spot that's open. So this is where you're going to teach today. And we all made it work. And actually, I
Yeah.
think it was kind of cool because it never was stagnant. But the designated spaces here, but us still feeling like a campus. That's how I always refer to it as too.
It
It's just like one campus where everybody's just kind of,
Buzzing about.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, agreed. I agree. Well, we will be having, once we get our the kinks, we work the kinks out, and I'm usually the kink in the whole process. So
Careful
once-
what you say.
Oh, yikes. Well, once we work out all of those hiccups, you
Advertising of another kind.
Your current husband is watching this. Oh, well, watch out.
You guys, this is a family establishment. This is not MUSEjar After Dark, okay? So once we work that out, we want to start having guests. And I do have a guest in mind. I'd like to bring on Rob Goller. So if you're watching this, I'm going to be contacting you. And to do the history of both buildings, because it's pretty amazing. Both locations, how they have a lot of history. And this one specifically is pretty serendipitous that we're here. So
Yeah, we get
Stay tuned
asked.
for
We
that.
get asked a lot, like what was here prior to
Yeah.
MUSEjar.
nothing. The immediate
Yeah,
prior.
the
Yes,
immediate
prior. yes.
It was
Yeah.
nothing.
Yeah.
But it's been a lot of different iterations, but it's been years since it was actually something pretty monumental. But
Yeah.
it was vacant and used for storage for many, many years.
Mhm.
So, all right, well, we'll leave you with that. A nice little hook for the next one about East Aurora history and MUSEjar history.
Yep.
All right, well, we'll see you when we see ya.
See ya.